Welcome to the America 250 Florida Duel at Daytona. Two 150-mile races to set the Daytona 500 starting lineup. Now the inside lane will be set from Duel 1, and all cars, whether they timed in or race in or are guaranteed in, other than the pole sitter, will line up Sunday based on how they finish this first Duel race.
Here to fire engines for Duel number 1. Please welcome Florida Department of Transportation Secretary Jared Perdue, joined by the United States Air Force Thunderbirds.
Drivers, start your engines!
Fire the hole.
Green flag and Duel 1 is underway.
And you see right off the bat, Chris Buescher up behind Joey Logano to get himself in a position. We talk about the RFK cars, we talk about Joey Logano and the Fords. It's going to be interesting to see what the plan is with each manufacturer. Every one of these manufacturers is going to have somewhat of a plan. You see Corey Heim up there. He's not somebody that they're used to racing with up in the front of these packs. So a lot of things to be learned on a whole bunch of levels.
Ryan Preece on the inside, taking them off turn number 4, but Bowman comes up right behind Kyle Busch to the line, and Preece will lead lap 1. He led the last lap at the season exhibition race at Bowman Gray Stadium.
I'm glad you brought up Heim too, Kevin. These guys don't know him either. They want to learn that trust, and he needs to earn that trust, and this is a good opportunity to do just that.
Well, and he doesn't know either, right? We talked about how fast his car is, and he wants to get in there and mix it up because he knows this is a great opportunity for him to learn at the front of this field. So really, a lot of lessons will start to unfold as we get closer and closer to the end of this race, but you got to try to keep yourself positioned up at the front of this pack to have a chance to win.
Yes, sir.
He knows his best opportunity is to keep himself positioned because Kyle Busch isn't going to want to pull out and pass because he knows that Joey Logano is back there. So there's definitely a lot of strategy that goes into these races to try to put yourself in the right position.
A lot of experience with Kyle Busch on your bumper as well. You got that rookie on the bottom pushing right off the bat.
Well, how about Austin Dillon pulling his way up into second place in that Richard Childress number 3? I know that paint job, Kevin, as he takes the lead, looks pretty familiar to you.
Yes, that paint job is about 2003 to 2006. That was the paint scheme I ran on my GM Goodwin Chevrolet. So cool to see that back on the track, and it's really cool to see it out front.
All right, let's listen in on Austin Dillon's radio channel here.
42, 12 to push him now, 1222. Dress with us. Now there's 4 on the bottom, all 4 is behind the 42.
John Hunter Nemechek to the front, and the Fords lining up behind him, 2 of them anyway.
Said it right there. I watched Logano move down on the bumper. They kind of got stacked up getting into one with Heim on that outside. Logano pulled right down there to the bumper of his teammate Blaney. Keep an eye on those 2 cars.
When the pack is smaller like this and you have the numbers like that in the field, you can be very aggressive with those types of plans because the energy of the pack is not as great as it will be on Sunday. It's harder to make passes, but when you have the confidence in knowing that your teammates are behind you and you're going to make a move and you're planning your strategy, all those things make it easier when you know you have the numbers.
Ryan Preece brought that group of Fords, 7 of the 8 cars on the bottom. Everybody but John Hunter Nemechek is in a Mustang. They're on it. Let's show you how the lead changed.
Yeah, you see right there, they just decided that it was time to go, and Austin Dillon was the guy that was hung out to dry. And we talked about them being able to take control of this race by numbers, and they have absolutely done that. And the guy that's The only guy that's in that train, that Ford train right there on the bottom of the racetrack is John Hunter Nemechek. And right now he knows that he's at the mercy of everybody behind him, but he doesn't want to move. He knows that he's in a spot that is in contention at the front of the racetrack. He just knows that he's at the mercy of what they decide to do.
We also know that the strength obviously is in the numbers. It goes to the Chevrolets right here. We just need to find each other and work together, and you start seeing that formation on this outside. Let's see if they can make some hay and run them down.
Right now, what Ryan Preece is talking about is tell him when to merge up so that that fourth car in line can be the first one to block the lane that they want to be in. Well, guess what? There's 2 more Fords up in that lane up there in the top.
And they're coming.
Which is exactly the 2 that he was talking about moving up in front of. Now it's too late, to your point.
Blaney and Logano leading the top lane. Corey Heim, the rookie, right with them. Then Alex Bowman. 2 Fords, a Toyota, and a Chevy on the top side. Fords on the bottom. Larry Mack, the fuel window's open. If they stop now, they could make it to the finish. But how long do you want to run before you think about coming in under green?
Yeah, Mike, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs in that garage area today, and yeah, the fuel window is somewhere north of 40 laps, 40 to 45 laps, maybe even a little further. The bottom line is, though, you want to run just as far as you can, but if you can keep a group lined up, one reason you want to run as far as you can is others start to pit. If you're in a good line, you can really make some good lap time until you absolutely have to come to pit road.
And you see that spacing that everybody has right there, and that's purely to try to get a reference to be able to not run the guy over in front of you.
All the Fords. Oh, Mears back there turned around and got into Noah Gragson. This could be a caution right here.
Right here, looking left.
Well, let's see if they get away. Nobody behind them on the racetrack, so plenty of time for them to get clear, and we could stay green.
All right. Doesn't look the best.
Cole Custer is the leader from Bowman, Dillon, Byron, and Wallace.
They're stuck down here, guys.
And caution is waved.
There it is.
Well, and what that does is it allows the guys that are on pit road to be guaranteed that they're going to be at the front of the pack. And you see Noah backing up right there. And that's just a mistake on Casey Mears' part. And that's not being in the cars all the time and being able to get to pit road and just got in there with too much speed. And
he's got at least a flat right front, trying to spin that thing out of the grass. And we are under caution. Noah Gragson made it to pit road, did not stop in his pit, and drove through so he could stay on the lead lap. Tough break for Gragson, but kind of self-inflicted. Goes back to that problem last night.
There's the race off pit road. Preece had a bad pit stop. Looks like Busher to the point. You can see Preece clear back here in the back right here.
Yeah, Busher, Logano, Keselowski as they come off pit road. They won't be the leaders right now, but when the other cars pit under caution, they will cycle to the front.
Well, it takes all the suspense out of when the cars had pitted on pit road in the merge of who had the best strategy, who got connected the best. These guys have just guaranteed themselves that they're going to be in this order and the leader of the pack.
Regan, what happened on Ryan Preece's stop?
Well, guys, just to update, the stop was good. It was clean. It's exactly what they wanted to have happen, but he needed 4 seconds of fuel. I believe that was a little bit more than some of the other cars needed. And when we're talking half to tenths of seconds, that's all it takes to lose those positions right there.
Well, sure, he ran 38 laps in front of the field, so he is going to burn more fuel than anybody else.
Keep an eye on Mears right back here.
Casey Mears, Noah Gragson.
Yeah, just got in there too hot. Locked the brakes up, tried to avoid the 4 car, lost control of the back, and that's where the contact came from. But that's purely just from the inexperience of doing this every week.
And there you see the race off. Preece was way late leaving the box.
Through nobody's fault, just having to take on more fuel than the others.
That's the price you pay for leading.
They'll sort out Logano and Busher here at the exit line to pit road. And pit road is open for everybody who did not stop under green. This is interesting. Casey Mears' car is stuck in the mud. You'd normally have to get a wreck or a rollback, but not anymore. Watch this. Up we go.
That's cool. First time I've seen that.
Yeah, it's the Baja kit.
Yes.
Well, we had so many problems with cautions coming out with cars getting stuck on the racetrack, so NASCAR and everybody created this lift kit to be able to get them off the ground and get them back to the pits.
Only 12 to go right here. Coming to the green, fellas.
Bubba Wallace, last year's winner of this race, in 12th place right now. Everybody's made their one pit stop. The only car we saw take tires was Corey Heim, the 67.
Look at this.
Or 6-7, Kevin, if you will.
6-7 Kevin, that rhymes.
Here we go.
Teammates on the inside, teammates on the outside.
Well, it's serious now. We're going to see what everybody has. We're going to see pushing. We're going to be seeing everybody push and shove as hard as they can. We see all those Fords stacked up at the front, those guys that were able to pit and get that caution to come out.
Well, right now, I might give you the front row and let you take the field, because Chris Buescher and Joey Logano, those names were on pretty much everybody's lips looking at favorites for this one.
Well, you see right there, Chandler Smith, he's being aggressive, going to the middle of the pack. Gets to the inside of Ryan Preece right there.
And he can see Corey LaJoie just ahead and to his left, and that's who he's racing.
That's exactly
to make the
right.
500.
Door to door. Who wants it?
Yeah, and right there, all those alliances with your manufacturer. Chandler Smith doing what he had to do, put Ryan Preece in a really bad spot and send him to the back of the pack, one of our best cars in the field.
That's that lesson learned, that you need to get out of the way right here early. Don't make that mistake, and the closing laps tend to go into 500. You won't be able to get back up there. Big time pushes.
And just for everybody at home that doesn't know, the open cars in this field are running 5th and 6th right here, Corey LaJoie and Chandler Smith. So there's a race within this race. You've got the guys that are going to lead the pack to win, and you've got one car that is going to make this field.
Yeah, it's the third car in both lines. That blue and gold car on the bottom and the white and blue car on the outside.
Well, and a couple cars that have entered this race, the 23 of Bubba Wallace, the 24 of William Byron. We hadn't talked about them at all, but here they are as we get towards the end of this one.
Bubba, move to the bottom. Here we go. Look at this run on the bottom.
Saw their door.
It's a great time move getting into turn 1, shooting to that bottom, right to the lead. Good job, Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace was 12th on the restart. He is up front.
Oh, he's wrecking.
Around goes Wallace, and in the wall goes Byron, Buescher, and at least one other car. I think that's Chandler Smith.
I think it is Chandler Smith.
Oh.
It looks like some splitter damage on the bottom of that car.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about, those moments that are not your fault, and it's just a push gone wrong right here, and it collected a few cars.
Well, he was out quite a ways on those cars, and that he being Bubba Wallace, and as those cars caught him, the block was just too much. Turned him right around off the bumper of the 3. Fantastic move, but it'll put him too far out in front of the 3 car. Here this train comes, boom, right there, turn him sideways, gets sideways again, and finishes him off.
And Austin Dillon can see that coming, but Chris Buescher could not see the distance to the back bumper of Bubba Wallace's car. So he thinks he's doing the right thing by continuing to push, but ultimately it doesn't let the 3 cars slow down enough to not hit him too hard.
Whoa, look at Corey LaJoie on that bottom, and unfortunately right in the lap of Chandler Smith on that outside. Not as bad as it could have been, but that's a lot of front end damage, particularly down on the front of the splitter. Look at this ride. Woohoo, hold on to it. It's one too many times. There's the flaps, saving it, saving that car. Those came up, kept it right on the ground.
There it is.
That new A-pillar flap to keep those cars on the ground, and did its job.
I love that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
Roush Fenway Keselowski on the inside, Team Penske on the outside.
Well, you see Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano get connected really well. The bottom did good for a little bit, and Corey LaJoie came disconnected, but they've since have a little bit of space on the top. You see Logano right there. Looked like he drug some brakes trying to get himself back to Ryan Blaney.
And look what it did. Look at that power surge down the backstretch.
Boy, those RFK Fords have speed. They're going to be tough to deal with on Sunday.
Well, we've seen Corey LaJoie do this before. We've seen Brad Keselowski have so many moments where he's controlled the race from the front like this. And not only is he an aggressive pusher, but he's also an aggressive blocker.
Joey Logano trying for his 4th dual win. Ryan Blaney won one of these in 2018.
Cut out quite a bit here. Big surge coming on the outside.
Brad Keselowski in the 6th, a dual winner 4 years ago.
And we always talk about the Penske teamwork. I think we'll see the same thing from that bottom row from those RFK cars, because Corey LaJoie, all he wants to do is get into this race, but that top lane is surging.
Well, they're also together. Look at the chain. I talk about this all the time. Links in the chain.
Crash!
And it's LaJoie.
And he hits hard up into the turn 3 wall.
Oh, no. Where's Chandler Smith? Here he comes back there in the back. You can see him.
Good flag here.
Caution is out.
Yeah. Nice job, guys.
Logano to the flag, under the caution, Joey Logano. Ryan Blaney. And we'll have to wait and see on the race-in driver.
Keep an eye on this,
because
guys.
that caution flag would end the race.
Oh, my gosh. Kevin?
See where they are at the time of the caution and who is or isn't involved.
Well, we talked about Casey Mears spinning some donuts down there and losing a lap, but he got the lucky dog and was able to put himself in position. But we talked about this. You got to be able to get to the end of this race, and you just never know when somebody else is going to make a mistake. And unfortunately, Corey LaJoie, wrong place, wrong time.
Joey Logano wins his 4th duel, 2019, 2020, 2023. And 2026 for the Middletown, Connecticut driver. Most among active drivers. Well, here's a champion and one of the best of the big money racers in NASCAR.
Well, we talked about Joey Logano's year last year, and we hear, you know, that they've changed a few things on their team and know that they need to get back to victory lane, and here they are.
2 Toyotas ahead of 2 Chevys to lead them to green for Duel 2, 150 miles, 60 laps.
Probably see him go down and get in front of that Toyota.
See Chase Briscoe way out there, and like Clint was saying, when they make that plan, the leader will pick the outside, and the guy on the inside, when he's your teammate, drags the brake a little bit, doesn't get going as soon, so that you guys can work together. And in the last race, we saw all those RFK cars get themselves positioned really early in the race. We see some Joe Gibbs cars up front. We see a couple of Hendrick cars right there side by side, 3rd row back. So it'll be interesting to see if those Gibbs cars can get themselves positioned and what everybody else's plan is.
Not many Toyotas in that last one. The only one we really talked about was Nemechek, right? I even said Lone Wolf. 11 Chevrolets, 7 Toyotas, 4 Fords in this one. Toyota guys will have a little bit better showing in this one with the strength and the numbers that they have.
Well, the Chevys side by side behind the 2 lead Toyotas ahead of the other 2 Joe Gibbs Toyotas. So nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and no way for those Chevys right this moment.
See Ty Gibbs right there in that 54 car right behind our defending champion Kyle Larson on that back bumper. You know, even when you're trying to take care of everything, you still get some of those runs, and you still want to be able to. I always wanted to be able to test just what it felt like, so I had a good depth perception of where that car is in front of me. Start to feel the back bumper of the car in front of you, so you know when it's time to really start pushing and shoving. You had a good reference of what that felt like, and being comfortable with when those hood flaps are going to blow up. That was one of my reference points, was when those hood flaps would blow up, you knew that you were close enough to keep your back bumper right.
Well, Chase Elliott in the 9 running 3rd right now. And before this race, his plan was to get after it. He said he was so eager to see how this new body style would push and be pushed. And he has not said anything on the radio. He's moving that car around, getting nice pushes. Hasn't done a lot of pushing just yet, but seems to be happy as Chase is one of 5 former champions in the field that have never won the Daytona 500.
And right here, Jamie, is the closest he has been to the leader so far in 29 laps. 1 car length away.
Yeah, you see Stenhouse back there I feel like he and Ty Dillon obviously made the big move on the outside, but I feel like if Ty Dillon pulled out, he's willing to pull out with him to get the rest of that track position. But sometimes you just have to surprise them and pop out there and do it. You can't. You almost have to lull them to sleep in scenarios like this. Riley Herbst up on the outside lane right there, trying to make up some ground.
Even in the front right there.
Now Herbst spent the first 10 laps trailing the pack just ahead of Allgaier.
You see Chase Elliott got to the bottom. There was a big gap in between Denny and his teammate Briscoe, enabled Chase Elliott to get to the bottom, shake up to the front. Here comes Ty Dillon on the outside.
So now the bottom lane is Toyota, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, Toyota.
Yeah, and what happens when you see these guys up on the outside lane like that, and then all of a sudden the leaders or the spotter or somebody says, oh, we got to go. We got to protect our track position. We got to pick up the pace. In order to do that, then you get those gaps, and that's allowed Chase Elliott to get in the middle of those two cars, not what they wanted to see happen.
Briscoe has led all but one lap, so burning more fuel than the cars in his slipstream.
Well, definitely exactly what Larry's talking about. That's the fastest lap of the race right there for your leader, Chase Briscoe.
They are going to keep pushing forward, that he's positioned himself in the front of the pack. But lets that 10 car of Ty Dillon get to his right rear quarter panel. Actually, right there taking the lead.
Stenhouse trying to come up to help, trying to close that gap, give a little energy to that outside lane. Little bump here before the end of the backstretch, and Chase Elliott does likewise on the bottom.
Bigger bump on the bottom.
Yeah, and
All right, so I have a plan on how to get down, but we're going to have to get the lead to do it. So with 2 to go in our window, I'm going to have you back up to the 47, and we're going to try to get a run to try to get the lead, have the 47 go with us to the bottom. Copy that?
Well, good plan, because you can't pit from the outside lane.
No, but he's going to try to take that 47 with him is the plan. You're going to back up, get to the bumper of the 47. He's going to push as hard as he can and push you in front of both of those cars. Not only you, but him as well. Maybe McDowell with him.
I don't believe any of it. After the last race,
believe it. Watch, he's pushing hard.
When they said they were pitting, you got to be careful. That's going to be a tough feat, and because Briscoe and those guys on the bottom lane.
Be ready for it, because here it comes. You see that lift out of McDowell? He had to look at the flames coming out of that thing. The third car back, the Eagle. He's clear. That's how, right there. See if they take it. I don't know if they'll take. Yeah, they're going to take it because you got a pit stop coming. That's
well done.
Yep.
Good job, and they actually delivered the plan over the radio so that everybody could hear it. So, and it still worked out. So, that makes me think that those guys just aren't in a position to be ready to be as aggressive with the fuel as what these guys are. So,
show you that backfire that Clint talked about here.
Yeah, watch him right there as he approaches these cars. Big head of steam. Whoa.
Yeah, and the flames out of the pipe are from the lift all the way off the gas.
Exactly. That's that raw fuel. When you lift, it's still in the exhaust pipes there. But did you see there was a car behind him, and Alfredo did the same thing? That's heads up on a spotter.
All right, Toyota's to pit this time at lap 45.
And this could be really unique for those guys that are not coming, so you got to be really careful here not to run those guys over.
Alfredo got to the front on that front. Here he comes. Chase. How about Chase Elliott coming with them?
Wow.
That's a shakeup.
5 cars to pit road, led by Briscoe. And they'll get some Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol.
Yeah, and that's not all of the Toyotas, guys. You got the 45, the 35 still out there.
Timed stops for fuel only. Eric Jones in and out. Now, can they all get lined up again as they exit pit road?
Yeah,
maintain the draft.
This is a super broken up strategy for the 19 and 11.
And Briscoe is not going to be with them.
Bad stop on Briscoe. Good point. Let's keep an eye on this other group right here, see if they come.
He led all those laps, so he needed more fuel,
100%.
More time on pit road. All right, here are the Chevrolets.
Some of them.
Some. Not Connor Zilic. He's going to stay on track out in front.
We're going to have three different groups in this one. Didn't see that in the last duel.
Well, and this is not what you want to see. I mean, obviously, Chase Briscoe, the last car on your bottom screen right there, as you see Anthony Alfredo making his pit stop, had positioned himself up towards the front of this pack, but there's just not very many cars on pit road.
5 right now.
And so what'll happen right here is all these cars that are organized on the racetrack are going to make way better lap time than the guys that are broken up into smaller groups.
Now those 5 all left pretty much together. They'll be able to form up a draft. Let's see if this brings the rest to pit road. Zilic peels off. Oh, not by himself.
Left him out.
Oh boy.
Super unorganized.
Almost ran him over.
Yeah, a lot of plans gone wrong right here. And I think as you see all these things broken up, this pack right here on the racetrack, as you see Connor Zilic on pit road, this pack right here on the racetrack is going to want to run as long as they can run, because all of the things that have happened, they aren't going to make near the lap time that these cars are on the racetrack. So they're going to make up overall time if they can get their pit stop right.
Especially as connected in as many cars as in that group, to your point, Kevin. Now this savings that we see in this fuel mileage early in these races, that is what affords these teams the opportunity to do different things and get on different strategies. Here they come now.
And now everybody else comes to pit road. 9 cars.
Very collected, though, to Kevin's point.
Yeah, and they're still going to have the biggest numbers when they get back out on the racetrack.
Yes, sir.
And you know, so we've seen some of those cars get formed back up going into turn 3, but these guys are still going to have numbers.
There you go. You can see up in the track map on the top where those two groups are starting to catch each other, and you see how bad that hurt Zilic pitting by himself.
These cars start changing lanes to try to break up the momentum of the cars that are coming at a much faster pace of speed.
And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll pull up there and block them. Are you sure you want me to do that?
I don't think
they're going too fast.
I don't think so. The closing rate is too fast.
We've seen them do it before. There's one that's going to do it.
You just need one to make a little bit of chicane so that those cars behind you start getting mixed up. That's exactly what you want to see.
Look at
them. Didn't work. Barry went too high. They threaded the needle up to the top.
But now they're all going to be together because they broke the momentum of that pack.
And Eric Jones emerges at the front of this pack ahead of Chase Elliott and Michael McDowell.
That is exactly what you want to do if you're the guy that's put yourself at a disadvantage. Those 3 cars in different lanes to make them serpentine like they did through that traffic. Now they weren't together, and it broke that momentum and just made it one pack again.
Well, it might work this time, Kevin, but you want me to do what? You want me to pull up in front of that car? That is a difficult situation. It's pretty dicey, if you ask me.
Carson Hocevar right there. And Eric Jones had a little bit of contact, and I thought,
whoa, big block out of Reddick. Almost a wreck right there.
Yes. And here to fill the bottom, here comes Zane Smith, and they're closing it right up again.
Yeah, and the intensity level of this race has just gone through the roof right now. But Tyler Reddick to the lead, and we talked about this. We saw his teammate, Bubba Wallace, in the first race take the lead and then get wrecked. But we had a lot of questions about the 45 and the 23, but here they are at the front of both of these races.
Chase Elliott on the outside with Carson Hocevar. Denny Hamlin in the middle lane. Austin Cindric on the bottom. Who's going to win it?
Well, I like the line on the outside. Actually, they just went down to the bottom. But those Toyotas, those 3 Toyotas in the inside led by Denny Hamlin were really strong against them.
Yeah, and you got all those Chevys on the outside, and I don't like when you get into those lane-changing situations. You look right around Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse right there.
Chase Briscoe was dominating this race, and he went from 1st to 20th after that pit stop. You see it here. It was a mistake. Stopped. You see him right there. He doesn't go far enough.
Oh.
Had to refire it, guys. That cost him quite a bit of time, and he hasn't made up any ground.
Wasn't quite in his box, was he?
And that's a scenario like we were talking about in the first race as well. What happens is you get to the back of that pack, and when it's full speed and gets more single file than double file, you can't keep up. You know, if you don't have the speed in your car that you need when you're at the tail end of that pack. Big wiggle by Eric Jones right there. Austin Cindric all over the back bumper of that 43 car.
Really broken up right here.
All right, every position you gain in this last lap and a half moves you up 1 row in the 500 field, and you pick your pit sooner. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Well, who's it going to be? Who's going to pull out a line first? You see those first
Big
two
push.
cars
Yep.
with a massive push from Carson Hocevar to the back bumper of that 9.
Five's going to have an option right here.
Five's going to have an option right here, and he's going to get a run on this 77 car. And he chooses to be in the back bumper of Carson Hocevar.
Thought he might move and McDowell might go with him, but no, they hold station.
It sure seems like these guys are committed to each other to at least get off the exit of turn 4 with the Chevrolets.
Bell to the bottom for Toyota.
Wanting more, too. Thought better of it. Got back in line.
Off turn 4 for the final time.
Move from Larson to the inside.
Chase Elliott.
Stay up.
Now it's a 3-time Duel winner for crew chief Alan Gustafson, who grew up here in Daytona Beach.
Okay, I saw. And Anthony Alfredo, how about him making the show? That's huge for him.
You got to love that for Little Beard Motorsports out of Michigan, second-generation team, one full-time employee, the crew chief for all this time, Darren Shaw, and they run a very limited schedule of a few races. They're going to be thrilled to be in this 500.
Probably didn't sleep a wink last night.
Probably had to use a few of those wipes on the side of his car. Might have been a little nervous.
The 26-year-old from Ridgefield, Connecticut makes it in. And the 30-year-old from Dawsonville, Georgia captures the flag. Jamie?
Well, Chase Elliott said this week he wanted to get after it in this duel. With this new body, he wanted to feel it out, see what you had. What's your opinion of it after that one?
Yeah, it was a great way to get the blood pumping for sure on a Thursday night. It was a lot going on. Those last handful, really ever since we came off pit road after the cycle, man, we were getting after it. It was a lot of fun. So I had some great support there. Carson did a great job helping me control those lanes and helping get Team Chevy to victory lane tonight. So certainly owe him an appreciation for just kind of sticking with it and also pushing me well. It's really easy to get people out of control. So appreciate that. Nice to get the Napa Chevy, a win, not a 500. I've been here before, not the other one. So you have to kind of learn to take it a day at a time. But look, great way to start this speed week for our team. Really proud of all the effort. Everybody, Hendrick Motorsports. The boss, from top to bottom, their commitment and will to win is pretty darn high. So proud to be a part of their team, and good night. Looking forward to Sunday.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How does getting this win, knowing how your team executed, your pit crew, everything, how does that set you guys up for Sunday and you trying to win your first Daytona 500?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rocky road. We've had a couple really close opportunities. Fortunately, we've won this race here tonight before, like I said. So I'm excited, but I'm also kind of cautiously realizing what Sunday brings, and obviously that's the big prize that we all want. So certainly we'll enjoy tonight. We'll think about what we can do to be better. Definitely some things that I think our car can improve on before Sunday, and the track is going to deteriorate. It's going to be a good bit warmer and sunshine being out. So a lot to think about between now and then, but appreciate the effort, and we'll be ready to go to work come Sunday.
All right, that's Chase Elliott, winner of Duel number 2.
Well, down here on pit road, it is all hugs and smiles for Anthony Alfredo, who for the third time in your career, you will start the Daytona 500, but tonight you had to race your way in. How stressful was that?
I definitely don't love being in that position. Make it on time is a lot easier, but do this for the third time. It's really cool because the first race ever is all sitting right there. And my career has had a lot of ups and downs, and you never know when you're getting another shot to race on any Sunday.
Probably didn't sleep a wink last night.
Probably had to use a few of those wipes on the side of his car. Might have been a little nervous.